confidence level, and Tori and Isaac chime in too, the confidence level when you took the field, because Mike Martz had a little philosophy, didn't he, where he said, we don't care what they do. If we take care of what we do, we'll be just fine. Can you talk about the confidence level you guys took the field with during those years?
But definitely, and I'll go back to the 49ers just for a second, because when I was talking before, they had beaten us 17 straight times. And even though it was my first year starting, I could understand that, there was something that we felt good about our team. We felt like we could do something, but the 49ers were standing in the way of that. And winning that game against the 49ers the first time in '99, that's where I believe all the confidence came from. When we won that game, I saw people in our locker room start to believe we could win this whole thing. But it had to go through the 49ers. And once it did, it was pretty amazing to watch, because I honestly don't think anyone in our huddle felt anyone could stop us at any given moment when we stepped on the football field. I mean, for me, it was easy, because I just looked at 80 and 81, 88, whatever that number was, 28. I just had to look around in the huddle. I mean, we had so many weapons, but it was fun. I remember players on other teams would come over to me and go, my gosh, you guys make it look so easy. It's like a video game out there. And I honestly believe that was my mindset. It was just like, okay, how many are we putting up today? We're going to get to half a century today, but that was the mindset. It was so much fun. Mike Martz, he had that mindset where it's like, we're going for the throw it every time. And for me, if you throw an interception, it's all right. We're going to throw it 40 more times, and you're going to throw 4 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. And that was how I played as a quarterback. I had all these weapons around me, and it was just so much fun to play the game that way, because you see so many teams and coaches that are worried about making mistakes. That was never our mindset. We didn't care if we made mistakes. It was more about, okay, what are you going to do to make up for it? How many plays are you going to make this game? And it was so much fun for that period of time when we were together.
It was so much fun, and when we took the field, but it started on the Wednesday morning, watching Mike Martz install what we were going to do. Now, let me explain something to you. When a coach stands up on the board and he starts to draw up things, and then he put the film on and he explained to you, this is where the defense, this is what they're going to do, this is where the corner's going to be, this is where the safety is going to be. That's on the board. When you get in the game and you break the huddle and you line up, Kurt called the play, we break, and we look at each other, wow. Like, the corner is exactly where he said, the safety is exactly where he said. It was times he was like, when we line up in this formation and we go in motion, they're going to blitz to safety. Marshall, I want you to just go and get it. This is what I want you guys to do. And to line up and to know and to see it, there was not a play that he could call that we didn't believe it was going to work. Before you saw quarterbacks throwing 50, 40 times a game, when Mike Martz was crazy for what he was doing, that's football today. If your quarterback can't do what he did, you're not really playing football. That's what they consider football now. It was so much fun to break the huddle. So there was the huddle when Kurt would call a play, and they would talk about, okay, here's what we're looking for. And then him and we would have our little huddle, and I'd say, Kurt, I'm going to be over here if you need me. Because I know the ball was going down the field. And it was just fun to be connected to some guys, because, I played football in Indianapolis, and as a running back, it was always about, hey, hand me the ball. And Eric would say, no, listen, we need to run the football. And finally, I had some guys, and I appreciated them, and they appreciated what I did. And when we scored a touchdown, we all scored a touchdown. Everybody scored. It didn't matter who scored. That was so much fun to share the joy and excitement of winning as a football team. And even if we lost, we were still excited for one another when, let's say, Kurt and I, we'd be up for the same MVP award every year, him and I on the same team. And when he won, I felt like I won too, because we did everything together. It was just so much fun to play with these guys.
And the unselfishness that we all had too when we was playing. Like Marshall just mentioned, everybody was excited for one another. And I was a young boy, so coming in as a rookie, it was fun for me to see the way that we were playing and then have a coordinator that didn't really care about anybody other than what we were doing. I'm actually still having fun from that rookie season, from what we did. But I always, for me, it was if I could get up to the level in which these guys are practicing, in which these guys are playing, then we're going to be that much more better. That just gives Coach Morris another weapon in his arsenal. And that was the push and the drive for me. And I had great examples in front of me every single day to get it, to learn how to play and how to get it done every day on the practice field as well as on Sundays. So it was a treat for me. It was really a blessing to come in. I'm glad I was able to add my little mix and my little flavor to this group. But the standard was set by a lot of these men that's here on this stage. And I was just glad that I was hopefully able to carry that out.
And I think you make a good point, because everybody got an opportunity to see what we did on Sundays, to see the points that we put up and the points that we scored. But, Marshall mentioned that it started on Wednesday. The amazing thing about, these guys, especially this offense up here, is how much we competed every day in practice. I remember, I can't remember how many times Mike Barnes would turn on the tape and he'd go, look at this. And he'd show Isaac running around in practice. And then he'd put on a game tape and he goes, there's Isaac in a game. Does it look any different? It didn't look any different. It was the same speed. It was the same competitiveness. And, it's interesting. We talked about the mad genius in Mike Martz and all the things that he would create. We would have 200-plus pass plays in a game plan every week. And obviously, we would never get an opportunity to practice 200 pass plays every week. What I love so much about this group is we could call a pass play that we never practiced in practice. And we would go out there, and it would look exactly like you drew it up on a board. These guys studied, these guys wanted to be great, these guys pushed themselves to be great mentally and physically, and everybody gets to just see the rewards of the 500 points and stuff. But that's where it started, and that's, watching these guys, it teaches you how to be a pro, and it teaches you a standard that you set, and it was awesome because I got to start my career that way, and then I got to take it with me to Arizona and be able to instill that in other guys on what it means to be great. But that, to me, is what I'll never forget, is these guys taught me how to work and how to be a pro every minute, not just when the lights are on, not just on Sunday afternoons, but every minute of what we did.
Kurt Marshall, go ahead, Isaac.
Well, my biggest thrill was, I had spent 5 years here, and we just didn't win anything. We didn't even come close to making the playoffs before these guys got here.
I remember that.
But the biggest thing is, I think that we were the Miami Heat before the Miami Heat, because, we were getting crushed in New Orleans. We go to New Orleans, get crushed. Go to Charlotte, get crushed. San Francisco, those were games where I'd say, how many points would we lose by? But when these guys came on the team, it was more like, you go to New Orleans and everyone just hated us. People around, the media, they really didn't like what we were doing. Guys were in awe of what we were doing on the football field, and I was really happy to see that turn. I had changed for us in the NFL.
Like they hated us. Let me say this. They hated us so much that if we were blowing their team out because we were so exciting, they stayed and watched because they wanted to see what we were doing. They wouldn't leave the game because their team was getting blown out. They would still be at the game just to watch what we were doing. But they hated us.
Marshall and Kurt, I know you guys got to get back to work.
I'm telling you,